Welcome everyone to the regular meeting for the Board of Trustees for the Sequoia Community College District. Today is Monday, November 4th, 2024. First, in regards to closed session report of action, there are no actions to report. We'll start off with our Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to invite Trustee Cardozo to lead us.
Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now that our voices are all warmed up, can we sing happy birthday to Trustee John Lane?
Yeah. Okay.
Celebrating his 49th birthday again. Happy birthday to you.
People are all old. Just
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
all right. Happy birthday. Before we get to public comment, I'd like to make an announcement that the annual organizational meeting for 2024, meeting of the governing board of the College of Sequoia Community College District will be held on Monday, December 9th, 2024 at 5 p.m. in the COS boardroom here in this room. So, at this time, public comment per board policy 2350. Any person may address the board at this time either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum time of 15 minutes per item unless otherwise extended by the board. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone who would like to speak public comments concerning items on the agenda. See no one. I'd like to invite anyone who would like to make public comment concerning items not on the agenda. No? Okay. Moving on to board and executive staff reports. I believe we normally would invite our student trustee report, but he's not here today.
No, he's on another trip, that lucky guy.
Yeah, sounds good.
But I'm going to report in his stead.
Okay, yes, wonderful.
Another lucky guy. Will Hobbs.
I'm the fair-skinned Mackay. He said I could represent him tonight. So,
Wonderful.
start out with just some Hanford highlights. So on the 9th of October, the Hanford Center hosted a National Coming Out Day event. Students wrote encouraging and supportive messages to the LGBTQ plus community on posters. The posters were placed in the Hanford Student Success Center for 2 weeks for students to view. On the 14th, Giant Threads visited the campus to provide several students with brand new outfits for upcoming employee engagement events and interviews and classroom presentations, again on the Hanford campus. And then on the 23rd, Career Services hosted its second annual Administration of Justice Lunch and Learn. Representatives from the Police Department in Hanford, Tulare County District Attorney's Office, CHP Federal Correction Complex Mendoza, Juvenile Center, Probation Department, and Kings County Sheriff's Office attended the events where students connected with those employers. On the 25th, over 150 students, on the 24th, over 150 students from the Hanford Joint Union High Schools District toured all 3 campuses as part of a district-wide events. And then finally, the Fall Fest with United Cerebral Palsy saw over 800 students, or kids and parents, on campus for that event. So a great month of October, Hanford showing their best, showing their best. And finally, the midterm party served 300 tacos, a slime bar, and 25 students donated blood. So
Slime bar?
the slime bar, yes.
What's a
I don't know.
slime
You'll
bar?
have to look it up. It is. There are little buckets of slime, and you can just manipulate it and have it squeeze through your fingers.
Oh,
and stress relief. There you go.
Good.
Google it, as they say, or DuckDuckGo it if you don't like Google. For Tulare, on October 23rd, the COS Ag faculty held their annual Fall Festival. Guests could purchase pumpkins, ride horses, and pet animals while enjoying the festival. And then on Halloween, Tulare held the pumpkin egg hunt, where students would hunt for pumpkin eggs and redeem them at student services for a full-size candy bar. They also had the opportunity to learn more about student services, their registration dates, and take photos for student ID. And that was on the Tulare campus. And finally, on the Visalia campus, we had our annual career fair hosted by Work Experience with over 50 employers here in the Quad. And then on Halloween, our Halloween event saw hundreds of students in the quad with food trucks, music, pumpkin bowling. We were bowling with pumpkins, as it sounds. And then a dunk tank. And want to say thank you to President Calvin, Athletic Director Brent Davis, Head Football Coach Matt Mendonca. We also had prom 2. Students got Professor James McPherson to get up in the tank in his tie. And then Makai, our vice president, as you know, student trustee, and then Toby, the editor of the campus newspaper, all got shifts in the dunk tank. It was a big hit. So,
Can I ask, was it James McDonald or was it Quinn McPherson?
I'm sorry, you're right. I had James. It was Quinn McPherson. Yeah, yeah.
Good for Quinn.
Though I'd love to get James in there. That's a good idea. Next year, we'll take that as a bold recommendation.
Mangles is chuckling back there at the thought of James going in there.
Yeah. Thanks for the correction.
Did we have a counter on how many times I went in? Because it felt like 300, but maybe it was only 30.
Well, so there's 2 ways to count. When the ball hit it, or when one of the students just walked by and pushed it.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of that going on.
Thank you for that report. I appreciate it. Moving on to board member reports, Trustee Nunes.
Okay, not a whole lot, but I was able to attend the event sponsored in part by our foundation with the Tulare Chamber of Commerce. I think they call it the Crush Party at our Tulare campus, and that was extremely well attended. A lot of folks from the community asking a lot of questions about the new building going up, and so the event was held outside in the concourse area, and so I think that was a very successful event.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Trustee Lane? Nothing.
I attended the Fall Festival in Tulare, and it was very well attended. People waited in line a long time to ride a horse. And they had all the equestrian team out there with their horses, so it was such a joy to watch all those kids ride horses. And the array of pumpkins for sale was crazy. I mean, I think I've never seen so many big ones for sale, like as big as, I don't even know. Anyways, they did a good job growing pumpkins. The only one thing that I had at least 7 or 8, and my nieces and nephews made a big suggestion for next year. There was no food there. So maybe for next year, Brent, some food trucks or something. Everybody in line was like, where's the food? You know, kids get hungry.
Can I open one of those 50-pound pumpkins?
I don't think the kids were looking for that. They were looking for anything but that. But no, it was very well attended though, and
Great
lots
suggestion.
of little ones, and the
Great
hayride was a hit. So no, I think it's a great opportunity to get people out there to see the farm part. Previous, they used to do both sections of the campus, and I think that was a good idea too, but keeping it all there, everybody's in one spot, and it made it a little more community instead of spread out. But it was very well attended.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Thank you. And I actually want to apologize to everyone here for my scruffy appearance. I was
They
challenged.
were all talking about it.
I know.
I heard some murmurs out
That's
there.
all I can think about. I was challenged to participate in the No Shave November. And one of my clients, since I'm in the healthcare industry and I represent an organization where the demographics of young men that attend college are susceptible to testicular cancer, I figured I would participate, but I've never grown facial hair before. So,
Oh, we can't wait. It's gonna be fun.
so we'll see how long it goes, but I do apologize. It's 2-3 days in, so we'll see how it goes. All right. Sounds good. Next up, I'd like to invite Mr. Foster for the foundation report. No report? Okay. Dr. Lacerna for the accreditation report.
It's on action today, so
Okay.
I'll do that for action.
Okay, sounds good.
Sorry.
This is going. Dr. Calvin, Superintendent President's report.
Thank you, President Macareno. We get to do one of the things we love most around here, which is meet new faculty and hear from new division chairs. But we also have the privilege of hearing from students tonight on their trip to Washington, D.C. And I know we have 2 of them here. Are we waiting on anybody?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, if nobody minds, maybe I'll have our students come up. I'm sure they have places to be. So if you guys are ready, we're ready for you.
Oh, I'm in charge, all right. Just right button. Okay. All right, very good. Well, there are 5 student and members of the Executive Student Senate, and Makai is on the HBCU caravan trip in Sacramento. One student had a car breakdown just today, and then we've got another student, drawing a blank, had to work.
But we're left with the best of the best.
We're left the best.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
So we were able to attend the National Student Government Senate, or Summit in Washington, D.C. In the middle of October. And myself and our senior secretary from Student Activities and 5 of our student reps were there. And here's a picture from the Capitol balcony with the mall behind us.
Beautiful.
Great experience, great opportunity. And I just get to say thank you and get it started, but these guys are going to give you the meat of the presentation.
All right, so during the conference, we felt like it sparked a lot of our creativity, and we were able to listen to a lot of great speakers about how to lead students, and then also just about self-development, a lot of personal growth, and we felt like it was very insightful. A lot of the stuff they had to say really resonated with us. And we just learned how to advocate for ourselves too. And then in the next one, we had workshops where we were able to talk to other students. And this is where I feel like I learned the most, learning from lots of other students' perspectives. They were from schools ranging from less than 1,000 community college students to 40,000 student university. So we all had very different perspectives, and something we all struggled with was just reaching out to students and getting them involved, and brainstorming with them was one of the most productive parts of our trip. And just learning how to go out and talk to the students ourselves is something we applied in our most recent event, in the Halloween event, where we had a candy corn game, and nobody did it at the beginning. We just had it set on a table where you'd have to be walking by and noticed it, and nobody did it. So we had 2 of our students go out and just take it around to different people and make them do it, basically. And that's how we're starting to drive some more participation, is by going to the students and not expecting them to come to us. There are a couple other good ideas that we brought back too that we're going to try and implement. And one of the other things that we also realized there was how many of the other students struggled with getting their administrators to listen. So I think we just all want to say thank you, that you guys are all looking for that student voice. And that's something I've noticed throughout the campus. At the Strategic Plan Summit, there are multiple calls for students to join and trying to get as many student voices in as possible, and we all really appreciate that. And then we also got to go to different museums while we were there. A couple of us went to the Air and Space Museum, the Holocaust Museum, the Museum of the Bible, and the Spy Museum, and these are museums we got to choose. And all of these museums just made us realize of the broader importance of why we're going to school, of why we're continually learning. One of our students who wasn't able to make it today went to the Holocaust Museum, and it just helped them reflect on, the importance of history, and maybe some stuff you learn in the classroom, but you don't realize how impactful it is until you have actual things in front of you representing that experience.
Question for you. In the previous slide, I don't know if you can go back, the tall gentleman in the center, who is that?
He was a workshop speaker.
Okay.
His name was Santos.
Okay, well,
He was a football player and now a speaker.
okay.
And he was one that we really resonated with. We kept on going back to his presentations, and his was about self-help and advocating for yourself and making sure you're selling yourself to other people.
Can you give us your name, your major, and maybe academic or career aspirations?
My name is Marcus Anderson, and I'm majoring in a couple different majors. I'm doing math, econ, and physics here at COS. and I'm hoping to get a degree in math and econ and go into the academic side of it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we could go there.
I'll
you give
start
us-
off by introducing us. My name is Rihanna Gallegos. This is my second year at COS. I am a live broadcast journalism major, so just journalism for now, but I plan to transfer hopefully next semester to Fresno State, where I'm going to take live broadcast journalism, which is everything from like behind the camera to news. I want to be behind all that stuff. And on to monuments. We saw a lot of really cool monuments. This was my first time out of California, my first time on a plane. It's terrifying. But honestly, I've not been able to stop thinking about what I saw since I went to Washington. I'm always like, oh my gosh, that looks like the thing in Washington, or oh, this in Visalia looks like this in Washington. It's not, but we saw beautiful things from the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the Martin Luther King Jr. Monument. We sat on the House floor in the Capitol building, which was really cool. We got a tour around the Capitol. We were in Vince Fong's office, I believe, for like 20 minutes, which was really cool still. And the monuments were probably my favorite thing that I saw. It was just, everything was so beautiful, and every minor detail that people have dedicated to these monuments is absolutely gorgeous, from the flags around the mall to the Martin Luther King Jr.'s quotes written up on his memorial. So this kind of involves what we learned. This was how we as Student Senate plan to ensure that our peers and other students are heard. So we are going to be doing surveys a lot more often. We're actually working on a survey right now to have the students let us know how they felt about the fall event that we just had with the dunk tank. We're excited to see what comes in for that. We are gonna have the posters like pretty much everywhere you can see them. I'm gonna promote them a lot on social media. I'm also gonna go around and bother students to make sure that we're getting the information how we can better our event for next year or next semester. Next year, technically, yeah. Oh my. And then we also have social media. We're going to use social media to build connections and a presence online. This will allow us to inform and update students about clubs, events, and other resources on campus. And then we also have our availability. If you look on the Student Senate page on COS, on the COS website, it says board meetings every Tuesday, and then it says officers and our names. That's about all the information you have. So we want our Student Senate page to be where you can actually reach us as students, because I feel like if a student is coming more to you, it feels a little more connected than a staff member coming to you. So I really want to just promote and make sure that the students know that we are trying to hear their voices. Then we also have the future of COS Student Senate. As the future, we are trying to create a bright path for our future. Student Senate wants more students to be aware of us, so we can actually communicate, and if a student has a problem, we want them to know that we are here to listen. We're not going to judge them. We're not going to say anything bad about them. We're not even going to spread the information if they don't want us to. We just have to know so we can make a change. We also want them to know that we are there for them. We also want to go around promoting the leadership class. So for example, like promoting our Student Senate in econ when we do elections again, just to make sure that students know that they can have a bigger part on campus by joining leadership, and their voices will be heard in the leadership class. More than thanks. That's it.
Good job.
Thank you, guys.
I did want to make a quick comment. I do appreciate the programs here at COS to allow our students to see outside of Tulare County, to see outside of California. Right after high school, my first plane ride was to Chicago for a school-related event. And I remember my first experience on a plane, and I was kind of like trying to hold on, but It was interesting, and I do appreciate whenever, and I'll mention that in our item 9 as well, is I appreciate that we're allowing our students the opportunity to see the world, to see other places to explore. And so thank you guys for participating. Thank you for stepping up to get that information and share it with all our students. Thank you.
Okay, now, again, we get to meet a new faculty as well as hear from our new division chairs. For that, I'll ask Dr. Lucerna to come up and make a few introductions.
Good evening, everyone. So if I can have our new faculty, our 4 new faculty, join me up here. Very excited to be introducing them. So, there we go. As they come up, I'll let you know that the faculty being introduced tonight include positions in geography, English, biology, and pharmacy technician. So Erica Estrada is our first person, and Erica is our new biology, microbiology faculty member, and her dean, Francisco Banuelos, is here tonight. He's the dean for both Erica and Jennifer. You'll be meeting in a little while, so that's Francisco over there. So Erica is from a small town in southwest Mexico. She moved to the United States in 2010 to pursue her college education. She came here without her family or very much money, but very full of dreams. And before enrolling in school, she worked as a grape picker in Delano while learning English at Tulare Union High School. She began her education journey right here at College of the Sequoias, where she found her passion for science, as well as mentors who encouraged her to become a scientist. And I know she was part of our MESA program. Erica then completed her bachelor's in science with honors in biology at UC Davis and a master's at Virginia Polytechnical Institute and State University, and a PhD in food science at UC Davis. So prior to joining COS, Erica taught at Virginia Eastern Shore Community College. She conducted research in cancer genetics, biostatistics, microbiology, bioinformatics, and molecular biology. She served as the assistant director for the Kern County Public Health Laboratory, which focuses on diagnosing infectious microbiological diseases in the community. And when she's not serving as a mentor, speaker, and advisor for different community colleges all over California, Erica enjoys traveling, exercising, cooking, and trying new foods. And she is now living her dream of becoming a community college professor. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Erica Estrada.
I'm just like the end of that bio is, I'm living my dream. This is what I wanted to do when I was at COS. Dr. Wilcoxon was my micro professor, and I always told him I would come back and get his job, and so here I am.
Okay, our next, Maureen, you want to step up here? Come next to me. So Maureen McDonald is our new English faculty member, and her dean, Richard Levin, is here. And so Maureen completed her BA in English and Theater at Santa Clara University, and a master's in English, and a PhD in English and Women's Studies at the University of Michigan. She also credits community colleges for being the place that she learned American Sign Language. Prior to joining us this year at COS, Maureen was tenured faculty at Eastern Connecticut State University, where she served as an English professor and director of women's and gender studies, a degree-granting major that she helped establish. She previously worked as an instructor at the University of Michigan and at the Michigan Department of Corrections. Maureen was raised in San Jose, California. She shared that she likes to sing, row, garden, and bake. And some interesting facts about Maureen is that she held identification cards that include a backstage pass to Carnegie Hall, where she actually sang with her choir, and a Michigan prison ID from teaching in Michigan prisons. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Maureen McDonald.
It was such a pleasure in July to begin driving cross country to join you all. I mentioned the sign language learning. That was the place as a full-time worker where I could acquire that language base. Community colleges met me where I was, and it is really a pleasure to be back in my home state and serving our students. Thank you so much.
All right, Jennifer. Come on up. Jennifer Bierke is our new geography faculty member, and Jennifer completed her bachelor's in science in environmental geography at Cal Poly Pomona and a master's degree in geography at Rutgers. It was at Rutgers, right? Because they were both on the same line. So at Rutgers University. She is currently pursuing her EDD in educational leadership at Cal Poly Pomona. Jennifer was born and raised in Visalia, and prior to joining us at COS, she was tenured faculty. So we have 2 tenured faculty members who left their tenured positions to come here. So that's a pretty good pull for us. She was tenured faculty at San Bernardino Valley College and served as the Mesa director there during the pandemic. She previously worked as part-time faculty throughout Southern California and with CalBridge, a space science research program. Jennifer shared that she worked at an agricultural lab in Visalia for 5 years while putting herself through college. Her hobbies are working in undergraduate research and STEM programs. And an interesting thing about Jennifer is that she also gave up a sabbatical at her other college to take the job at COS. She was really thrilled at the opportunity to return to Visalia and contribute to local students. So please join me in welcoming Jennifer Bierke.
Indeed, I could be on sabbatical right now. But it's a pleasure to be here and home and serving these students, where I originally got the idea to do this job, so thank you.
They are not big talkers in this group, I guess, so it's all good. So Kedra Turk, Kedra, come on up. She is our new pharmacy technician faculty member, and Dr. Shingle, John is here, that's her dean. So Kedra completed her BA in business from Fresno Pacific University and her master's in education from National University. Prior to joining COS, Kedra worked at Children's Hospital in Fresno for 25 years, where she was the pharmacy operations manager. So we're really excited to get her here for our pharmacy technician program. She is from Fresno, and she enjoys golfing and gardening. She also enjoys cooking and baking, and her favorite is Asian cuisine, and she loves to travel. Kedra enjoys spending time with her husband and 2 daughters, and if her name sounds familiar, her husband, Marvin Turk, is also a faculty member here at COS. So we are really excited to have Kedra on board. And I actually got this summer, one of the things Jonna's team did is put together a summer program for our students to come and learn about careers, and I got to sit in and observe Kedra working with some of our high school students, and they were measuring pills and counting pills and measuring like all the liquids and everything. And they were just excited. They were all they were in nursing like hospital uniforms, and they just fit the job. Their parents were there, and it was wonderful to see her in action. So really excited to have her on board. Join me in welcoming Kedra Turk.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm just really happy to be here and be a part of the COS family. I've been a pharmacy technician for a very long time, and I'm really happy to be able to share my knowledge with our pharmacy tech students here and just continue to produce quality students from COS. Thank you.
Jennifer, I had a question for Jennifer. She snuck away. What led you to Rutgers University?
They gave me the biggest fellowship when I applied for grad school.
Anything else? Okay, so if you just want to sit and okay, thank you. So
Thank you all.
welcome to our new faculty. Let me go ahead with the addition. Okay, and I should have mentioned that Kedra was also a full-time temporary faculty member with us last year, so we were lucky to work with her last year. Okay, so I have 2 new division chairs. We had 3 new division chairs this year. You met one of them at the last meeting, and you'll meet 2 of them tonight. And so our first one, who works with Richard Levin in fine arts, is Chris Mangels, and I think some of you recognize Chris because he's been at COS. He'll tell you about it himself, but he's been at COS for quite a while, and you've seen him through many of the productions. And then Amy Ali, and her dean you guys have not met yet, Francisco Castillo. He's in the back row. He's a new dean here at College of Sequoias, and so you'll be meeting him at the lunch when we meet new administration in January, but that's her dean, and then Amy Ali is our new division chair in language and communication. And Amy's also been here about 8 years in our communications faculty, and so she'll be talking to you after Chris. So I'll have Chris come up first, and we'll meet our new division chairs.
Hello. Hello. Like Dr. Listener said, my name is Chris Mangles. I'm a professor of theater and cinema at COS. I have adjunct faculty 2002. I've never worked one of these before. Thank you. 2002 to 2004, and I've been full-time faculty here since 2017. I'm a giant. Graduated in '94 with an AA in theater arts from COS. Went to Fresno State, got an MFA in musical theater from San Diego State, and then just last year finished my second master's in production and design at Southern Oregon University. At COS, I direct one production each semester. I serve as the department's resident scenic designer. I teach 11 separate classes, not all at the same time necessarily, but sometimes. I serve as the academic senator representing fine arts. I am the Fine Arts Delegate on the Costa Representative Council, and I'm also a member of the Equity and Diversity Action Committee. And I am the faculty advisor for the Artistic Company, which is COS's Student Performing Arts Club, as well as the faculty liaison for our participation with the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. The art department is the first of the 3 departments that comprise fine arts. The art department has 4 full-time faculty and 12 adjunct faculty members currently. They teach a large section of coursework. They offer 4 degrees, one in art history for transfer, one in studio art for transfer, and they also work with the IT division to offer coursework toward the associate in science degree for graphic design. The COS Art Gallery is the connection with the community. They feature curated exhibitions of professional and student work throughout the fall and spring semesters. And my colleagues in art have 2 goals for the coming year. The first one is they are developing an open studio tutorial session to make studio equipment and space equitable and accessible to all students, because they have discovered through outcomes and assessments work that their students are far more successful when they're able to stay on campus and access the content. They're also continuing to examine how emerging technology can be incorporated into traditional studio classrooms. So they're looking at the future of art as well as the long traditions of it. Second department that is part of fine arts is the music department. We have 4 full-time faculty. And for adjunct faculty, 1 staff accompanist, and quite a large team of professional musicians who are what we call our applied coaches. They teach the music students in multiple disciplines. They offer many, many classes, including a fantastic program for recording arts and music engineering. Music department offers Associate of Arts degrees in music, music for transfer, and that certificate of achievement in commercial music. In addition, COS vocal music and instrumental music programs feature 4 student ensembles, 2 community ensembles, one of which is the Visalia Community Chorus, which I believe right now sits at about 118 people. And they collectively present over 10 separate public concerts and recitals a year, in addition to competing in multiple invitational festivals throughout the fall and spring semesters. Their goals for the coming year include identifying and developing OER for each course offering to increase equity and accessibility for all students. They're looking to make all of their classes have no textbook costs. And then also they're looking to expand community, regional, and even national awareness of the College of Sequoia's music programs. This year, for the second time, Professor John Sorber will be taking the COS Chamber Singers to Carnegie Hall to perform not as a large group, but actually to perform solely as the COS Chamber Singers at Carnegie Hall, which is pretty thrilling.
So we're going to need that backstage pass.
Yep. I told him already. I said he needs to pull some strings. Theater department is our 3rd and final department comprising the fine arts here. Theater department has 2 full-time faculty, 2 adjunct faculty, and 2 staff theater technicians. We teach multiple courses in theater and cinema, everything from performance through design, through technical theater, theater appreciation, and cinema appreciation. We offer associate in arts degrees in theater arts for transfer, dramatic arts technical, and dramatic arts acting. And the dramatic arts technical, particularly in the last 2 years, has really started to grow hugely, and we're seeing a lot of students come through with interest in pursuing that down the line. In addition, we produce 4 fully realized plays and musicals productions per year, a student talent showcase in the spring semester, and we compete in the Southwestern United States, known as Region 8, KCACTF Theater Festival each February. In the coming year, we expect in the spring to have potentially 49 students who want to attend that festival. We had 31 last year, so it's growing. Our goals for the coming year are to develop a professional student design lab to provide equity and access to our students, particularly all of the new technical theater majors that are coming through. We want to give them the opportunity to explore design for theater, film, and electronic media. A lot of people don't recognize that people who design video games usually are coming out of theater design programs and learning how to build worlds through CAD programs, and a lot of that transfers straight over. We're also looking to expand community, regional, and national awareness of the COS Theater Arts Program. I do want to say that we always look forward to seeing folks at the gallery showing, music concerts, or theatrical productions. And our recent production of Reefer Madness, I know that's the name, the musical is being considered and very likely to be invited to the festival in the spring, so it's very possible we'll be touring that show into the spring. So we're always looking to expand everyone's understanding of Little Visalia and its great big arts programs. Thank you very much.
Chris, I can't tell you how much the community does appreciate the various productions that that the department puts on. I don't attend all of them, but the ones I do, it's just amazing.
Thank you.
The production that you guys do. It's and the comments that I do get from folks throughout the community. So
thank you so much.
Appreciate that very much.
The connection they have to the community is just unparalleled. I mean, just amazing. I saw twice up there that you teach that stage combat. Is that right?
I do, yeah.
You know, Trustee Nunez was wondering if he came down here, could you demonstrate some of those moves?
Absolutely.
I'll buy a ticket for that.
Absolutely.
That'd be a good fundraiser.
Yeah, this is my 18th year.
So stepping up in division chair after 18 years, he shared with me why, and he didn't share that there, but why division chair at this point in your?
I don't remember what did I
After 18 years, why are you division chair?
You wanted to show up James, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's long-standing competition. Because, there's a lot of reasons I wanted to be division chair. I've been trying to serve the division for a long time as a representative on all the councils. But also I have a vision for expanding the work of what we're doing. I'm hoping to expand it through new faculty, new programs, and just kind of keep trying to grow everything. And ultimately, I think my main goal, and I think James's goal for the theater program, is we want to make sure that we leave a theater program that is far more than just we were. And we want to make sure that it's beyond, that it becomes a sort of a self-sustaining program. And I know my colleagues in music and art feel very similar, and we want to build something that this is. I left Visalia many times growing up, and always came back, and my investment in this community is pretty intense. So I want to provide opportunities for our students to feel like there's a future in the arts here. You know, I think next to athletics, it's the greatest touchstone between the community and the college. And I think that we are doing our students are doing phenomenal work. And I really want to showcase that and help get that word out. Did I mention any of them? Okay. Also, I did send Megan a list of events for the coming year, which if you would forward whenever you see that, it's a PDF, so you guys could see the gallery showings, the music concerts, and the theater productions, and give you an opportunity to see what's coming down the road.
Next Thursday, Noise is Off
Yep.
starts.
That's why I'm in my board presentation outfit, because someone has to build that set, so.
Well, you guys know, I like to roam the halls late at night sometimes. After games or concerts, I just kind of roam around. And more than one occasion, I've heard a bunch of noise coming out the back of the theater, only to find Chris by himself 10, 11 o'clock at night, sometimes on weekends, back there sawing things or putting pieces together for his set designs. Just amazing, the work that goes into these productions and the commitment that we have from Chris and his colleagues. Great job, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I have a final comment. I also am so proud to see the trickle effect down to our, not just our high schools, but our elementary schools. You know, just kids coming to your productions and seeing what's here and being excited to come. And I brought my nieces to a production, and they had like 5 friends from their school in the play, and they just thought that was the greatest thing. So it inspires them to want to go back to school and participate. So it's a trickle-down effect that, you know, is great in our community. So thank you for all you do for the little kiddos, too, because a lot of schools have drama programs because of you now.
All right, good evening. Thank you for having me here as the new division chair for Language and Communication Studies. So thank you. I'm glad to introduce myself a little further, as well as present some goals that we have for our division, and then provide some background about each of our departments that we house. So for me personally, like Dr. Lacerna said, this is my 8th year here at College Sequoias, and 8 years prior to that, I was a part-timer up and down the Central Valley. So I guess 16 years of teaching. And it, like many other folks mentioned, it was my dream as well. And getting that call saying that I was hired was up there, along with my children's births. As I'm not joking, I cried. It was one of the best days of my life. So really, again, happy to be here. So I teach communication. And let's see, I focus on interpersonal communication, public speaking, health communication, and small group. It was thrilling to get to watch 2 students today present, and I don't know if you feel the joy that it is to hear their voice. That's what I get to do in my public speaking classes, and I skip and jump on the way home. It is thrilling. It's one of my favorite parts of the day, getting to hear them pick their topics, what's interesting to them, what's fascinating, what's a passion, what experiences, new, crazy, have they had, and they get to share. And so it was a thrill to get to hear you. And if you haven't taken comm yet, please, it would be my honor to have you in my class. So I started out as a community college student as well after I graduated from high school. I'm from Bakersfield, so it's kind of like Visalia. And I went to Bakersfield College. I came from a very underprivileged family. Sometimes we had electricity, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we had water, sometimes we didn't. And so I after high school, I went to Bakersfield College, and I didn't really know what was out there for me. And it was, I was majoring in comm, kind of unsure. And it was a happy moment where I met a counselor and was planning on my career, what I wanted to do. I was thinking of transferring to Cal State Bakersfield. I didn't know what my options were, and they mentioned, well, you have almost the IGETC completed. Go to a UC. Like, you have all the grades. And I just thought, oh, that's not something for me. But they mentioned there was this transfer agreement. They're like, oh, yeah, you'll do great. And so I toured some colleges, and I ended up going to UC Santa Barbara for my bachelor's degree, and then finished off at Fresno State for my master's degree in communication. Got to go back to Bakersfield College and teach as a part-timer for about 6 years there. Loved it. So again, dream fulfilled for many of us. Anyway, so that's a little bit about me, and I think it does align with one of my absolute favorite parts of the job, besides listening to my wonderful students, is that I get to give back. I was a product of this whole process that we have here at College of Sequoias, and I'm a product of what we do here, helping students complete their goals, their dreams, transfer. And so not only do I help my students, I think, in communication, but I'm always an ear to be like, are you transferring? Do you have questions? Talk to me after class. Talk to me. I have some ideas for you. Oh, that's not a good communication program. I know where you should transfer. So I'm just a mini counselor in disguise as well. It's probably my favorite thing. So I don't know if there's any counselors in here, but I'm helping you out. I'm trying. All right. So moving on to some of my goals as a chair. First of all, like we heard, I also have a new dean, Dr. Francisco Castillo. So both of us are trying to survive, but we like to call it listening and learning. So we're taking the opportunity to tour all of our spaces and meet with our faculty. While I knew a lot of my faculty by name and what they teach, I can't say I have ever had conversations with all of them. And so this was a chance for me to really sit down with my Spanish faculty and my ASL faculty to hear them, see what they need so I can advocate for them. So that's part of my listening and learning tour is to figure out what my faculty need from us. So that's one of my goals. I feel like it kind of relates, to sustainability. What do we need? What kind of professional development do they need? All that kind of stuff. My other goal is to help navigate all of the legislative changes that we've been having. So I serve on our curriculum committee for 4 years, and I feel like I'm a good leader in that way to help facilitate AB, all the numbers, AB 928 that talks about CalGETSI and our new common transfer pathway, AB 1111 for common course numbering, and AB 705 that is, ESL is going through some curriculum updates for that. So every of our 7 departments is impacted a lot with these legislative changes. And so that is one of my main goals, is to survive these changes and help lead them. Sometimes there could be some adverse effects to some of these changes, and that's what's going to lead me into my last part of my presentation, is just to talk a little bit about all of these departments. I have 7 compared to Chris's 3, so I'm going to try to, keep it going. So first is ASL. Loved hearing a shout out for American Sign Language. So we have an Associate of Arts degree in ASL. 1 full-time faculty member being supported by 7 part-time faculty members. And something that I think that could be a concern is that for CalGETSI, ASL 1 and 2 were removed from the GE pathway for humanities. But this is such a beautiful, beautiful discipline. It adds to the tapestry of the courses that we have here. And so one of our main goals is to maintain, if not grow, our enrollment here. We are expanding our dual enrollment offerings at the high schools, as well as creating a new certificate in interpreting, which is highly needed. We have a huge need for more interpreters in the Central Valley. Let's see, communication is the next department. So it's the 5th largest department at COS with 345 FTES. We have 5 full-time faculty and 10 part-time faculty. Let's see, we are working on making sure we get all of our courses aligned with CalGETSI. There's been a lot of changes there in terms of oral communication, moving things around, trying to align with the discipline in other colleges, hopefully growing as well some courses in that area. Next is ESL, so English as a second language. And so we have 3 certificates of competency in ESL, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Oh, I forgot to say, in communication we have an AA for transfer, and then we also have a skill certificate. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Lots going on. And then, ESL has 3 certificates of competence, beginning, intermediate, and advanced, 2 full-time faculty members with 12 part-time faculty. And again, updating curriculum for AB 705. And they are settled in, I think, and thriving in their new building. I don't know if you've had a chance to walk through. It's been done for a few years now, but it's beautiful. We're all a little jealous that we don't get to have classes in there, but they've settled in and they really love their new facility in the Educational Support Services building. And so they're running that roost. It's great. Journalism is another one of our departments, which we got to hear a little bit about as well from another new faculty member. I loved the shout outs. And so we have an Associate of Arts in Journalism for transfer, as well as a skill certificate in media communication. I do know that they're kind of leaning more towards broadcast journalism, and so that's kind of a fun new endeavor in that area. We don't have a full-timer currently that represents that area, but we are looking. We've tried to hire. It's been difficult to find qualified applicants. Linguistics and Portuguese, We also have in our division, no full-time faculty member, but supported by 3 part-time faculty, still working in those areas to align with CalGETC. So submitting some curriculum there to help update and maintain our enrollment and grow enrollment. That's going to be a theme for all of my departments. And last but not least, we have Spanish. 2 full-time faculty members in Spanish supported by 6 part-time faculty. Anticipating retirement, maybe from one of them, so I'm going to navigate that, as well as navigating the transfer pathway, CalGETC as well. Spanish 1 and 2, no longer transferring for the humanities area. That is such a devastation. I just can't even believe it. But we are thriving with dual enrollment, definitely increasing the past 2 years, offerings of Spanish 1 and 2 at our local high schools, as well as now 3 and 4. So some higher level classes being asked, which is just kind of unprecedented and really cool. So hopefully we're going to create some opportunities there for Spanish as well. I just like to end with personally. So I'm married to my husband, Nathan. He's great. He's also pretty tall and crosses path with Brent sometimes professionally. And so my husband's happy to have somebody like a little bit taller than him. He's like, oh, thank God.
A regular size guy.
He's regular. He's only 6'5". Like, oh,
Mangles too.
I know. We have 2 kids, Lucy and Jake. We're huge Beatles fans. So my daughter Lucy, obviously, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and my son Jake Harrison, George Harrison. So we're like Beatles aficionados, and that's a little bit about us. Thank you.
Sing a few bars for us.
No. I was in choir for 14 years, though. So, I mean, I could have just, like, I can't. I thought about it a little bit. I was like, I won't do that.
Great job.
All right, any questions? That was a lot.
Wonderful, thank you. Love your energy.
Oh,
She has a twin sister who also works in community college.
I do. So I have an identical twin, and she's the division chair for communication at Bakersfield College. We were both hired spring of 2017 full time. She became the division chair last year, so she got to like try it out and warm me a little. And then I became the division chair here the next year. So we drove the same car all the way through high school and graduate school. We had the same jobs all the way up until these jobs. Like, we are those twins. Like a little creepy.
Don't try any Freaky Fridays.
Everybody's always like, do you guys switch classes and sub for each other? We did one time, and, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but I was not hired here. And it was somewhere else, and I walked into her class and just kind of carried on, and they were waiting to see. I was like, they're not even noticing. We sound even more than we look. It's how we talk. It's like, it's weird. And so then finally somebody was like, your hair is different. You got a haircut. I'm like, actually, my hair's longer. They're like, you're Amy. I'm like, yes. So they figured it out eventually.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to pause just for a moment, and everybody's welcome to stay as always. But students, new faculty, division chairs, if you have other things to do, grab a brownie or a cookie and skedaddle. You're welcome to leave right now. We'll pause just for a moment. Yeah, I'm not chasing anybody out, but
Tim, I don't think you fit that description.
go ahead, get out of here. This is a good break. The brownies, the cookies. Somebody's got to eat these things, so I don't.
You got to put them at the back table.
So I had a few other things, but it could hold till next meeting because, in the interest of time, with the exception of you met our new women's basketball coach last month. Shortly thereafter, his team was named the preseason state #1 team, COS. And for our troubles, we were invited to a tournament just this past weekend at Mount San Antonio College, where we played the #2, the #3, and the #4 team in the state, including the #4 on their home court. And I'm proud to say that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we went 3-0 and returned victorious from that gauntlet of teams. So it should be a fun year. Men are up to their old tricks. They've gone to 5 straight Final Eights. So it should be a fun year in the basketball gym. That's the end of my report.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any questions for Dr. Calvin? No? Okay. Moving forward to reports, I'd like to invite Mr. Arzola, Academic Senate President's report and update.
Good evening, Board President Macareno, and distinguished members of the board as well. Thank you, Dr. Halvin. And just a short report here. First, I want to begin by apologizing for missing the meeting last month. I had a short-term class start in Hanford, and my orientation took place on that Monday. So my apologies for not being here. And some of the holdovers from that conversation, or that I wanted to report to you, is I believe in September I reported that I was working diligently to fill all of the Academic Senate for California Community College liaison positions that have been recommended by that body, that local academic senates have, just to serve as conduits of information from the state senate to local faculty. And I'm happy to report, as long as I've been on academic senate since 2014, all ASCCC liaison positions have been filled. So I am super stoked about that. The other thing that I wanted to also make mention of course, is something that's on the agenda for today, the faculty hiring procedures. I want to give thanks and props to the task force who have been meeting diligently for the last 2 years. The Academic Senate did in fact complete the revision of the faculty hiring procedures back in 2022, but it went through additional review, and over those 2-year process, we finally got to a point to where I believe all members of the task force were happy with the contents and looking forward for the board support on the faculty hiring procedures as well. And then I do want to just give a little bit of flowers here to the COSTA president, Redden, COSAFA president, Alberti, and CSEA president, Kane. Thank you for the work that you all have done to support your constituents and with the new bargaining agreements. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. And then lastly, on a personal note, I know I probably grossed you guys out the last meeting, but the following Monday, I became a grandpa. So I've been on cloud 9 since, and that baby's been in my arms more than her mom and her grandmother. So I love her to death. So, oh yeah, and Dodgers. Thank you.
Any questions for?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to invite Ms. Redden, COSTA President's Report Update.
Mine's really short, too. I just want to say congratulations. This is kind of to highlight faculty here. So congratulations to Vicente Tinoco. He's our COS RN faculty member on earning his doctorate. He's also a first-generation college graduate, and you can read more about him in the November nursing newsletter at COS. That's how I found out. I'd also like to congratulate Christina Lynch on her newest novel, Pony Confidential, for being named Amazon's #1 pick for November. Also, Goodreads also picked hers for being #1. She's going to be in People's Magazines. They're reviewing it. I think it came out this week. So that's kind of exciting. Her book is receiving stellar reviews, of course, getting all these promotions. Professor Lynch will be doing a reading at Barnes & Noble's on Wednesday, November 13th. I think next Wednesday at 5 p.m. I think that's pretty neat, too. Last Tuesday, Trunk or Treat was held at the COS Visalia South parking lot right over here last Tuesday before Halloween. I just want to say the CSEA president, Katie Kane, started it last year, and they started with CSEA. This year they invited all 3 unions. So it was a tri-union event, and so we were happy to come. We were giving out, they had to walk the plank on ours to get their little gold piece. We were the pirate theme. It was fun. I think there are about 200 people, 200 children that came. Great event. So we hope to do it next year and maybe expand. Also, I thought it was really neat. Erica Estrada, our bio new person, she was my student, but she came back before she got her last degree, her PhD, she came back to our SETA meeting. Like, it's a meeting you can come and we invite speakers. She got an internship. A lot of our students, because they go to our Friday night labs, and they have, like great things to put on their resumes. She got a great internship on the East Coast. I just remember she came back and talked about it. She was funny, comparing herself to the hobnobbing of she's a community college student with these Ivy League people at this internship. But she did, really took her a long way. But it was neat that she came back and gave back and to our students too. So thank you very much.
Good, thank you very much. I don't see Ms. Kane. Is there anyone here represent CSEA or President's Report? Okay, how about COSAFA President's Update, Ms. Alberti? No? Okay. Moving on to information. Item 1, Annual Report of College of the Sequoia High School Partnerships, Dr. Lacerda.
Okay, I don't have to present it, but we have 3 wonderful presenters that are going to join us, and I'm really glad that we heard our division chair talk so much about dual enrollment, because a lot of what we do is dual enrollment. You'll hear about that, but also great collaborative partnerships with the folks that you'll be hearing from tonight. So this is our annual report on our high school partnerships. So first, you will be hearing from the principal of Visalia Technical Early College High School, VTech, Scott Braun, and then Dr. Helen Milorn-Feller, the principal of University Preparatory High School, UPHS, and then Dr. Chris Spomer, our director of our Welcome Center and Early College Partnerships, who will talk about COS dual enrollment. So I will invite Scott up to start.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here and appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with COS. It's especially important for our students. They get an opportunity to take classes and be successful, whereas students that are taking AP courses don't get the same success because we're guaranteeing credit. Because of our strong partnership with COS, VTech excels in preparing students for college and careers, especially in agriculture. We have nearly half of our students enrolled in college classes, where we're enabling our students to graduate high school with about or over 40 credits on average. Our students aren't just learning, they're excelling, as shown on our CAS scores recently, the state test, and the hands-on certifications that they're passionate about. I've got a student that his name's Brett Lawson, and he does a really good job of telling us what we need to do for our welding part. He goes and takes courses at the Tulare campus, and one of our golf carts has a broken piece on it. He's like, hey, let me take that to COS. I can use it as a project to fix that little seat piece. We've got an aluminum welder, so it's another little quick thing that our students are excited to do.
I got some stuff around the garage.
Maybe he would. He might. He's really good at what he does. And from our nationally recognized FFA chapter to our students that earn AA degrees, VTech is redefining high school and bridging the college and workforce and setting our students up for success. We empower our students to fast track their future, and that's what's important to our students. The rigorous piece comes from taking COS courses. We have approximately 220 students, and of our 2025 graduates that are enrolled, we're taking over 150 units. College credit milestone, students average about 40 credits with the alignment of the IGETSI, which is going to be the CalGETSI, I believe, and we're excited that we're aligning to that. And because of that, 12% of our senior class were accepted in the Merced Automatic Admissions Program, the MAP program. So 12% of our senior classes got that already. They're guaranteed admission to UC Merced if they follow that path. And that's because of COS courses. Additionally, we have a new advanced manufacturing pathway. I don't know if I mentioned that last year, but I was applying for a grant. I'm 100% for grants last year. We got $440,000 towards this advanced manufacturing that we align with the Tulare campus, and we'll work diligently with Dr. Waldner and Ms. Shingle, Dr. Shingle, and working towards the Associative Equipment Distributors certification process. And we'll probably, Dr. Shingle, I think, is still doing, are you still doing the, what was it called, the Jumpstart piece, we work closely with her on that. So really good with those pieces. We have one student on track for an AA degree and several others achieving certifications like the IGETC this year. I think next year we're going to have, let me tell you, we have 5 early grads this year, by the way, because of COS courses, and they get an early start. But our students next year probably will have 5 AAs. That's what we have on track currently. Our growth in ELA was 20%, which is significant. In the CAST, the state testing scores, highest in Visalia Unified. We have our National Chapter Award. We were actually they're changing, the FFA is changing their state award process, and we were number 1 out of 390 FFA chapters. And so we won California last year, and we went to nationals this last year. That's a picture of them there. Actually, all of our pictures are kind of what they did there. You can see they got industry tours, they were recognized, and then they're at the conference. But kids really are excited about that piece, and within that advanced manufacturing, we're adding an applied mathematics. Dr. Shingle talked to me about like the working with math for the trades. Well, we've made a course that's A through G, which means that it's college accepted, that will hit between Math 2 and Math 3, and our students will earn credits for their 3rd year of math with that. So we're working towards that. Let's see. VTech, we have animal science, plant science, and ag systems, and it aligns with certifications in industry skills. Our COS success liaison is super important. She does a great job of helping us to align our IGETC requirements and really helps work with students to ensure that they are successful. So we have an actual RTI program, which is a response to intervention, and she helps with that with our students to make sure that, hey, pull up your grades. What do we need to do to help you? She doesn't make them do that, but she says, what do you need help with? And she's actually brought students over to the tutorial lab and gotten some real success with our students that were struggling with courses such as economics and stats. Really, those are the 2 difficult ones, and so she's done a really good job with that. And then finally, we have 45% of our VTech students, 69% of our seniors that are enrolled in early college classes, which is a testament to our thriving partnership. And we just added in that advanced manufacturing a dual enrollment course that our teacher is actually teaching on our campus. AGTC 201 this fall, and then AGTC 202 in the spring. So that's VTech in a nutshell.
Recall that their campus is our old Visalia farm.
Yes.
Sold in, I think, 2012, built in probably 52. We kept it for 60
there's
years.
There's some things that are coming undone there, so we're working.
Well, you got a
on
new welder. He can probably fix most of it.
Yeah, the cement piping under the irrigation piece is not working so well, but
well, no give
working on
backs. So no give back. It's yours.
Yep, we're doing great.
Thank you,
very
Scott.
much.
One
Yes.
quick question, if I may. Do you guys ever follow students after they graduate, that especially like your early grads?
Yes, we do keep in contact. The one that was the last one that we had an AA from is at Chico, and he's a construction management major. He's doing really well. So that's just one example, but yes, we do keep track of them.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Helen Malone Feller. I'm the principal at University Prep High School. And I just have some highlights to share tonight, but I just wanted to say a couple of things maybe before I get started. First of all, Marcus Anderson I'm so proud of you. He's one of our graduates from last year, so it's great to see him moving on. And many of the faculty that you all presented tonight are amazing. Our students love them. They've taken classes in all of them, and so how the amount of work that the faculty do to support students really shows. I can speak personally. Robin McGee, who is in communications, helped my own daughter when she applied to college write a speech for a competition that earned her a $20,000 scholarship. So the extras that they go above and beyond. The combat class, if you haven't taken it, you should definitely take it. Very high on the popularity classes for UPHS students. So every year we have our own version of it also that Mr. Rasner teaches. But it's just such a thrill to be a part of this campus and just to see all the faces of all the faculty and just to know that these are all people that our kids talk about. And they're very successful in the classes. So thank you. I know it's a lot of work, and working with high school students is a little bit different, I know, than working with college kids. I've crossed over for both areas, and I really appreciate all that COS does. So let me give you some heads up about UPHS. First, I just wanted to acknowledge Josh Curtis is here with me today. He's my number 2 now at UPHS. So we now have 2 leadership members. So it's nice to have a partner in leadership, which I know anybody who's working on running any kind of program or school can relate to. So thank you, Josh, for being here. So for UPHS, I guess I have to push the next one, right? Is it this one or that one? The arrow? Okay. So for 23-24, we had 61 graduates, 98% graduation rate. One student did not quite finish all of her COS units. We have 29 of those students are enrolled at COS, so we usually have, about at least a third of the class that does enroll with COS. Students are attending colleges all over the place, as you can see. And last year, 6 of our students graduated with AAs or AS degrees from COS, at least one, if not multiple. And we have I think it's about 8 to 10 this year. After graduating, we encourage kids to, work on their AA degrees, but we're really focusing on making sure they finish their IGETC. So the goal is that they're ready with to transfer to, whether it's a state college or a university, UC college, or a private school with all of the IGETC done. So, and we use predominantly the UC IGETC, and most of the students do finish that, so they get pretty close. They still have a requirement of a minimum of 20 units to graduate as a part of our graduation requirements. A few just celebrations to think about for university prep. We have 33 active clubs, which is a lot of clubs. We have 260 students enrolled this year, so it's a lot of different types of clubs, from our academic teams like Science Olympiad to the chess club to the drama club. We have just quite a bit of different clubs that kids all run. They initiate them, they find friends that are interested, and they run those clubs. They just finished their big event for the fall. We run a fall carnival, and the student clubs all run a booth, so the kids can come around and play a game and win a prize. And so that was their big contribution, and volunteer work for the fall semester. And currently 253 kids are enrolled. I have a wait list for every grade level, so our goal this year is to maintain 260 students. That's the enrollment as we're trying to increase. As you all know, we're moving campuses, and we'll be on the Liberty campus in 3 years. So we want to have a strong student body when we move to our new campus. On average, we have 200 students taking classes every semester. They at least are taking one class with 3 units. Many are taking 2 or 3. We do have a grade and an attendance policy, so if they don't have a C in all of their classes and haven't earned at least a C in their COS classes, they're not able to take classes. Also, if they're not maintaining a 95% attendance, then they're also held back, just because those are really, you need to be doing well in your high school classes. You need to be attending school regularly to be successful in your college classes. I just was notified by Niche. It's a website that tracks different schools. University Prep received an A+ rating, and only 3% of the high schools in the nation received that rating, so that's exciting for us. And let's see what else. I think those are for fall. So just to kind of know the graduation requirements, there have been a lot of changes, and I know there's a lot happening with the Cal GETSI. We maintain, following that GETSI for the UCs, but we continue to have all of our graduation requirements meet the minimum expectations for students to enroll in a CSU college. So when you graduate from university prep, not only do you have 20 college units and 20 units that giving you some experience in college, but you are automatically eligible to attend a state college in California, so CSU. And they are going everywhere. You asked board president of where do you know where the kids go afterwards, and this is our, I think, 13th graduating class, 15th year, and it's exciting to see. We have a student teacher that's going to be teaching at University Prep this spring that graduated from University Prep, and there's students in the community working in Visalia Unified, that have come back to give to the community. So we do our best to try to follow them. They're all over the place, we work a lot with the students to advise them, similar to what Scott was sharing. We meet with kids. We want them to pull up their IGETS. We want them to keep track of their IGETS. We want them to know where they're at. If they're working on an AA degree 2, are they taking the the combined courses for whatever AA degree they want? And they range from. I just helped somebody the other day who's doing a poli-sci one, another one that was doing one of the math and science areas too. So there's a lot of different things that the students are doing and earning those degrees to move on to a 4-year college afterwards. And so I think just the growth, it's similar to last year. We did receive a $250,000 grant to start an independent study program. That's starting this year. We've done all the planning. We've got the online software now through Edgenuity, and we're building that program in just to continue to find ways to reach students. And that program is really interesting. It allows us to expand into the CTE areas and to help students that maybe need to work to go through college or need a way in and need a living wage paying job in order to support themselves or their family. And so we're excited to do more work in the CTE area with that part of COS. We're moving, as I said, in 27 to the Liberty College. We've brought in a new pathway for our students. It's in its 2nd year of things that we're working on just to help cultivate a sense of what it means to be a student, what it means to be successful, not only in an early college program like UPHS, but moving forward into your life post, high school and college and your adult world. So, are there any questions? Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Chris Spomer, Director of our Welcome Center and Early College Partnerships here at COS. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to highlight overall enrollment and success data for our COS Early College credit programs. So let me just start with a little bit of data. As probably everyone in here knows, statewide, nationwide, dual enrollment participation is increasing. And for COS, no exception, the number of dual and concurrent enrollment students has maintained steady growth over the years. So the first chart you see here, the bar graph, 6-year overview, 2018-2019 here at COS, we had approximately 1,700 students pursuing dual and concurrent enrollment opportunities. Fast forward 23-24, we're at about 2,878. So close to 3,000 students, I think, at the end of this spring, probably pursuing here at COS dual and concurrent enrollment opportunities. So we've continued to see steady growth over the years, and I think that's going to definitely continue as we move forward. Also, the chart at the bottom there, you see we've looked at where students are taking college courses, and meaning, are they taking them at the high schools? How many are taking concurrent enrollment here at one of our COS college campuses? And it's a pretty even split. It's about 1,600 pursuing dual enrollment opportunities at the high school campus, and about 1,600 coming to one of the COS college campus locations to enroll in a college course. slide 2 here, dual enrollment success rates. So how successful are COS dual and concurrent enrollment students? Overall, dual concurrent enrollment students' success rates have remained excellent. So as you can see there, the 93% for dual enrolled student success rate, so C or better in their courses. Almost 87% for concurrent enrolled students. And regular COS non-K-12 students are at about 72%. So our dual and concurrent enrollment students are doing very, very well. How are COS dual and concurrent enrollment students performing academically? So this data indicates this student's course GPA. And course GPA for dual and concurrent students has remained high over the past 6 years, as you can see from this graph. Over 3.0 or higher grade point average. It clearly indicates good academic performance and is a very positive result. Just for information, a 2.6 GPA for all other non-K-12 regular COS students. So our dual concurrent students are doing very well. How many sections are we offering? So we're partnering with about 19 service area high schools. And so I just charted the past 3 academic years. So 22-23, we were at about 147 dual enrollment sections. So this is specifically the sections that we offer at one of the 1920 high school campuses here in our service area. 23-24, we bumped up to about 157. And the 24-25 academic year that we're in now, we're at about 187 sections that we're offering at service area high schools. So we are committed to a regional dual enrollment course request process. We started that last year, and that's really just about collaborating with Tulare County Office of Education and 3 other regional colleges in our area to help ensure we're supporting high school dual enrollment course request needs in our region. And fundamentally, this collaboration has helped us organize and streamline the course requests in a more efficient way, and really overall increasing dual enrollment opportunities for students in our service area and our region. So this, in my opinion, has been a good implementation in terms of the request process, and then a very effective collaborative effort with the Tulare County Office of Ed and other regional colleges in our area. So overall, we're working very hard and very effective in providing dual enrollment opportunities for high school students, and focus on maintaining strong partnerships with our high school partners.
Chris?
Yes.
Are you, on your first slide, actually, the head count slide, do you expect to see the growth continue, or are we kind of, we'll hit a peak, and are there limitations on the numbers?
You know, all the predictions that I've read indicate that the growth will continue. I think there's roughly 2.5 million students in the country pursuing dual concurrent enrollment opportunities. California, I think, is #1. We're over 200,000 high school students pursuing dual concurrent enrollment opportunities. And everything I've read indicates that there's more and more students pushing more and more parents pushing their students into dual concurrent enrollment for various reasons. I think it's going to continue to grow steadily. I don't know where it ends, but you know, I definitely think we're going to continue to grow over the next 5 to 10 years.
One of the challenges, our statewide chancellor has been a very outspoken proponent of all high school graduates graduating with 12 units of college credit, which is a fabulous goal. I think all of us see the value in providing high school students with a nice on-ramp into higher ed. The challenge is we have not received any additional FTES funding capacity to go along with those almost 3,000 headcount students over the last 8 years. And that is a little problematic for for a college like College of Sequoias that's at their funding capacity. Now, lots and lots and lots of colleges in our system, because of the pandemic and other factors, are way under their funding capacity. And so this dual enrollment has come at just the right time for them to increase their enrollment and get back to kind of full funding. Last year, you've heard me talk about us being about 800 FTES over our funding capacity. About $6 million of potential revenue that we're not receiving as a result. So I do think something's going to have to change, because we've wanted to continue it for the good of our community. I'm not sure that all colleges would be as generous, and so I think a time's coming where something has to change. There has to be additional funding that's put into dual enrollment, or I don't know if the system will continue to grow, and it should. I mean, it's a good program, but they should fund it accordingly. And then, Chris, you had 2 slides just after this, I think, that just talked about the success rates. Yeah, this one and the next one, which is awesome, and it just needs a little bit of context. Is in that most of these classes offer at high schools, and students self-select, and sometimes there's a waiting list, and oftentimes some pretty good students self-select and are picked to be put in these classes, and they meet every single day. So when you have good students meeting 5 days a week, you are going to have good results, and we see it there. So I just didn't want there to be any confusion that somehow people not in that group are underperforming. It's just that's a perfect storm for successful students, right? Yeah. Self-selecting, you've had some success, and now you're meeting every single day. You're going to have some good success.
I have a 2-part question, if I may. I always appreciate the invitation that I get from Dr. Calvin to join him at the presentations he does at our local high schools, and he talks about students that are dual enrolled. And I guess my initial question is, I appreciate that happens in the spring, but throughout the year I always wonder, how our high schools are doing and how many students are enrolled. I was wondering if that information could be available to me or to the board, just to see that how many students from each high school are in dual enrollment. And then my second question is, if there is a high school that maybe their enrollment is low, what are the strategies or ideas that, and I'm sure this takes place, but what encouragement do we give to the high schools to encourage them to either increase their participation or find teachers that can teach those classes? And so I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's great. Great question. Part of that is in the collaborative regional effort that we're pursuing now. Like, for example, a few weeks ago, I was part of a panel with some of the other regional college partners, where Tulare County Office of Ed brought in potential high school dual enrollment instructors to learn about, the opportunity, the processes, and so we engaged that group, and I know several from that session will be applying COS and other colleges to hopefully be able to teach dual enrollment sections. The other piece is we have, for example, a dual enrollment counselor who goes out to the high schools and does what is dual enrollment about type workshops to educate students and get them interested and explain to them what they're getting involved with, obviously, the benefits and the expectations. And so those we've gotten a lot of good feedback from our high school partners on. So, we definitely think that's an important thing to address. The data question, we can definitely get that data. I'll work with our research area dean over research to get that. Pretty easy to pull those numbers.
I strongly believe in your program, and as a parent, knowing that a student could come into their community, their college career, a sophomore, or even having more units than just graduating from high school is beneficial to the parents as well financially. So I always do encourage students and parents to pursue the enrollment. So thank you very much.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, thank you very much for all the presentations. Next, information number 2, quarterly update, budget accountability, quarter ending September 30, 2024. Mr. Perez.
Good evening, Board. In the spirit of fiscal integrity and budget accountability, these next 2 reports are for your information. And after the conclusion, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. In your handout here, you'll see, and you see this just about every month, sometimes it's on consent and sometimes it's on information. This is the quarter where it's on information. So I'll go over this first page. On the left-hand side is our unrestricted budget, and you see the date from October 14th through November 4th is the next column. So what I'm showing you here is last month and then this month, what's happening. That's the left-hand side is unrestricted. The right-hand side is restricted. Again, restricted is mostly all the categoricals and grants, strong workforce, health center, SSSP, student equity. It's usually on the instruction or the student services side. So I'm going to concentrate on the left-hand side, the unrestricted portion. So again, you'll see our total revenue from October 14th through the difference of November 4th. And then what I do want to show you is you scroll down, Megan, to the very bottom. Yeah, there it is. Where you see at the time in October, we were showing a general fund surplus of $2.7 million, and then now it goes to $674,000. Nothing to get alarmed about. Remember, the board approved the collective bargaining agreements last month. So the cost of all those collective bargaining agreements for everybody, district-wide, is a little over $2.2 million. So that's why you see the reduction there. Even though it's showing a $674,000 surplus, again, it's an estimate. I do just want to let you know, remember, when we do budget, we budget 2 years in advance for PERS and STIRS. We condition our budget for that. So we definitely know $620,000 will fall out at the end of the year. And also we budgeted a little over a 1% deficit, which is about $1 million. So right now, at this point in time, you figure 1.6, 1.7 will be added to that amount. And then again, at the year end, mostly there will be fallout. Not everybody spends all their money. So it ranges anywhere between, on my low side, $2 million. On Dr. Calvin's high side, it could be $4 million. It just depends on what departments are doing. So we're looking at add another $4.5 million to that number there. So we're in good shape. So don't get too alarmed when you see $674,000. We're in fine shape there. And then again, you'll see the reasons why. The next column, surplus deficit. The final adopted right there, Megan, $3.1 million that we took to the board in September, and then you see all the reasons or the deductions. So CF means carry forward. Any kind of request for carry forward for above base or some PE or athletics ask for some things to be carried forward. And then when you go down to the next page, Megan, there, and then there you'll see all the line items for the collective bargaining agreements. You'll see the costs there. Again, our final surplus that we're showing here for November 4th is $674,000. Again, that's basically all I wanted to show you on this report. The next pages are all just basically a backup for that. So not too much I want to go over there unless you have any questions there. Now, again, it's, nothing to get alarmed about. We're in good shape. So we'll probably finish anywhere between 4.5 to 5 million end of the year. That's what we're anticipating. So on that, I'll be happy to answer any question you may have on the budget accountability report.
Ron, I'd like to condition my budget at home to have some fallout, but unfortunately, my wife just won't cooperate.
Right. No other questions. We'll move to item 3, quarterly financial report. First quarter, fund year 2024-2025. Mr. Perez.
Thank you. And this one's our quarter report that we have to send to the State Chancellor's Office. Again, this is behind the times. This is the first quarter, so July, August, September. So what you'll see here, if you scroll up, Megan, there. The first 3 columns on their left are the actuals, so that's the last 3 fiscal years. So what we're looking at is the projections for 24-25 on the right-hand column. Again, if you look at row C, when we adopted the budget, it was going to be a $2.7 million surplus. If we added that to our adjusted fund balance on Row D-2, we'd have a fund balance of 32.5 million or 31% reserve. Again, that won't, it depends on what we do at the end of the year. Again, this is old news because what you just saw earlier is new news. This is a quarter that's already in September 30th. So again, if you scroll down and keep going, it gives you all the revenue from your expenditures. And then on the last page, it asks, has the district settled any employee contracts during this quarter? At this point in time, no, because that was through September. So next time you see it, it'll say yes. And then the rest of the questions will all be no. Are we doing any borrowing? Do we have any significant fiscal problems for this year or next year? So the only thing that will change is yes up above. And then in the block there, we'll tell how we are going to fund those. So I'll be happy to answer your questions for the CCFS 311 that we'll send to the state here shortly.
Questions for Mr. Perez?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Moving on to the next item, consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees or any person in the audience and considered a separate agenda item. Are there any items that we'd like to separate from the consent calendar?
None for me. Move to approve.
Second. Motion from Trustee Cardoza, seconded from Trustee Lane. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I did want to make a quick comment on number 9. I do appreciate, again, when our community college gives an opportunity for students to travel and see different parts of the world and be exposed to things of their interest. And hearing about an opportunity to go to Chicago and visit the National Museum of Mexican Art at the end of November, it brings me a lot of pride to know that our students are having those opportunities. And so I just wanted to publicly thank all those involved to making sure that happens, and of course our organization for those opportunities. Okay. Moving on to action items. Number 10, accreditation. ACCJC Institutional Self-Evaluation Report. First read, Dr. Lacerna.
Good evening again. You have before you the first read of the COS ACCJC Institutional Self-Evaluation Report. So this is our first read. It will come back again before you in December. This, I want to remind you, is the new 2024 standards, which are the shorter, briefer version of our accreditation report. You do not have a whole copy in your packet because it's very long. But
there's more for me to read?
There is a copy here. So it was not there's not a paper copy. You want to say anything else about it? Okay.
But they'll be getting an electronic copy to read on their own.
They already have.
They have an electronic
Yeah.
copy.
Oh.
They have an electronic copy. We didn't print the whole thing out for today. So, but we do have an electronic copy. You have one already. And this again is our 2024 standard. So instead of the 400-page report that you're used to, it's 70 pages. Yeah, quite a bit shorter. It's focused. A lot of the stuff that we used to do in the report is now just a separate piece of evidence. So instead of us having to write about the same thing over and over again, it's like documented in required evidence. There was a team of people that worked on this for the last several years, so I just wanted to thank them. I co-chaired the group with Dr. Sarah Harris, faculty member. Our subcommittee 1 was chaired by Dr. Ozturk, and I knew her, a faculty, and Ryan Barry Souza, staff from the research office. Subcommittee 2 was chaired by Jessica Morrison, Jonathan Brooks as faculty, and Meg Miller as staff. And Subcommittee 3 was chaired by Ron Ballesteros Perez and James McDonald as faculty and Carolyn Franco as staff. And our Subcommittee 4 was chaired by Francisco Banuelos, Sandra Bergen as faculty, and Jordan Lamb as our staff member. And so I really want to give a shout out to them. This has been out for district feedback. People were allowed to give us feedback. We looked at that feedback and incorporated as appropriate. It has been to Academic Senate and District Governance Senate twice for review and approval, and is now before the board for first read. We are still going to be doing, our editor hasn't done the editing yet, so we will be having someone do like the commas and the punctuation and the capitalization and all that kind of stuff. But the content is there that will be moving forward. This is due to our ACCJC commission on September 15th, and then we will have, or on December 15th, excuse me, and then our team will review it on March 18th. We will get some questions back and be able to answer them before our focus site visit in September. So I present that to you for first read. Any questions?
Not a question, but in a word, wow.
Oh, good.
It was awesome collective of, I mean, this is the framed version in my mind of COS, right? And I don't know whether something like this could be encouraged to be mandatory reading or suggested reading by all new as well as existing, personnel, because, as we live in a place for a while, then things change, and, most of the time we see it, but sometimes we don't. Awesome. Very well written. I saw Dr. Osterk's hand in many places, as particularly in all the hyperlinks. I clicked on a few of them, but I intend to read it even more carefully to become more familiar with all of the programs that we offer. So kudos to all those involved, many of the names of the folks in the audience today, and thank you for all the diligence.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I should mention we did have an evidence team that included Megan Tierce, Ryan Barry Souza, Daniel Alvarado, and we had Tina C. and Janae Prater. And so there were some staff that helped get all those links together that led to all the other work. So I appreciate you saying that. And we also are planning to take some of our fabulous COS videos, and we're going to link a few of those in appropriate places so that when the team goes in, they'll be able to see live some of the things, not just on paper, but some videos. So Dr. Calvin's working with that with Lauren Fishback, and we'll be embedding a few links here and there over the next month. We'll be able to do that. So, and then Daniel Alvarado in my office has been really key in helping us keep this all together. So I do want to mention him as well. Ken?
Yeah, just not a question, but you may want to comment on it. But the page 3 is where you have the some sections that has the FTES, and you notice that I noticed that the period is a 5-year period from 18 to 19 to 22, 23. So these numbers have already changed for if you do 23, 24. But the overall district total was down about 1,600 FTES. And then when I looked at the Visalia campus, it was down 2,400. So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, where are those numbers at? But lo and behold, if you keep on going down, the online has increased by approximately 1,800 FTES. So that's where while some of the others haven't quite caught up, at least in the 22, 23 year, the online, just by the math there, went up 260%.
Yeah, and that is a direct impact of when we went
Right, of course.
100%, almost 80% online.
Yeah, so you went online, and then there was an increase.
Yep.
As you weaned off of that, but there was still a substantial increase in that.
And we're
method.
Out about back this year, if we looked at this year, about 75% in person and 25% online. So you'll see that change even more with current data, but in this 5-year snapshot, that's definitely a trend.
Overall enrollment was greater in the 23-24 year than pre-pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's why I said,
Yeah.
I qualified it by saying it doesn't have the 23, 24 numbers in there, which they're outside of the period, but yeah.
Funny thing that the chancellor makes us do is that all online classes, pandemic or not, all online classes have to go to one campus, Visalia, Hanford, or Tulare.
Why so, you think?
Well, who knows? Because when we were trying to get Hanford over that 1,000 FTES threshold years ago, it's been 10 years, but we couldn't because Tulare was where we had determined online should go. Until you have a significant event like opening a brand new campus, you can't make changes to that. You pick one campus and that's where it goes. And so we've gotten to the point where we really don't even look at it. Hanford has to have 1,000 FTES of in-person. Tulare does anyway, but they would have the benefit of the online, and then Visalia would not. And then it all, because we're a single college district, it all comes together for one number for some purposes. But when we're just looking at campus by campus, we split it out online here just for ICER purposes, but for funding and things like that, state level, online is included in the Tulare number.
That's because.
Kind of an odd thing.
Because of the online. What's the other location on there? What is that?
Those are like dual enrollment and.
Dual enrollment.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. And, or any other off-site programs, like we have a cosmetology program that's off-site, but the majority of it's dual enrollment. Or
All those ESL programs.
classes, yeah.
You know, that you sat with a bunch of those students that are meeting in Corcoran or Lindsay or Hanford or whatever, those oftentimes transpire at a community center or something like that. Those are other locations as well. Yeah,
So Brent, just that 707 number for Tulare, you would add the 2,500 to that to get you over the 1,000 base?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah, Tulare, on paper, Tulare really made out during the pandemic because all that online was attributed to Tulare. It'll make for some serious asterisks later.
Footnote.
If there are no other questions, I entertain a motion for the Board of Trustees to approve the first read of the final ISER report for submission to the ACCJC.
So move.
Second.
Motion by trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Lane. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Thank you
Motion
very much.
carries. Next, we have action item number 11, lease on the Evan Ditch water stock.
Yes,
Mr.
we are,
Perez.
thank you, sorry. We're actually towards the end of our 3-year contract with our current leasee, Evans Ditch Company, that is currently leasing our 30 shares of the water. Again, just a little history, as you all know, 19 shares were deeded to COS in 1953, and then 1972, the district bought another 11 shares for 30 shares total. What we do is we go out to bid, and we went out to bid this time. We received 3 bids, and if you kind of scroll up to the second page, you'll see the third page, you'll see the bidders there. Again, our recommendation is to award the contract to Moonlight Dairy. Their bid came in at $90,000 for the first year. Normally, we would get around $20,000 a year. So water is a big commodity. I would have never known that coming from San Diego. Shaking of the walnut trees, the almonds, now water. So it's a big one. So again, we are recommending that the district approve Moonlight Dairy for the first year at $90,000. And I'd be happy to answer any question you may have on the Evans Ditch water stock.
I have a question. I'm not second guessing, I'm just curious why we wouldn't include the annual assessments in the amount that they would pay as opposed for us to pay. And it's not a significant number, I was
It's
just curious.
$5,000 in past practice. We've always looked back.
Yeah.
The district always picked up that cost.
Okay.
But again, that's something we can look at as we negotiate further down the contract. Yeah, yeah, 5 out of the 90, yeah, it's not a
Yeah.
big, yeah.
That's okay.
We considered that when we made the minimum bid 30 this year.
Oh, okay.
Because traditionally, the district has bought those, the ditch company has bought those shares back. And they've, sometimes they were the only game in town. And so we just felt like, well, let's put a minimum bid in here to account for some of that. Because we've had those discussions in the past, and the demand wasn't as great as it is now. And I think people are realizing that you know, water comes at a premium, and they came after a little harder this year.
Rhonda, do you know if there were significant, not discrepancies, but variations in the bid?
Big variations.
Big variation.
From the low range of 20,000, 28,000, and 90,000. It's a big variance, yeah. So the decision wasn't that hard. It wasn't hard at all.
Depending on the situation, that may still be very reasonable water for the other those stocks, just because of where everything's at, so. Very good. So moved. Move to approve.
Motion by trustee Cardoza,
Second.
seconded by trustee Lane. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Action item number 12, bid award COS Baseball Clubhouse Modular Building for the site work.
Good evening. In front of you is a recommendation to award a formal bid contract for the site work portion of the COS Baseball Clubhouse modular building project. If you recall, in June of this year, we brought forth a recommendation to award the construction or the fabrication installation of the modular building itself. That was awarded to JTS Modular out of Bakersfield. And so this is the second piece, which is all the supporting site work and infrastructure for the building itself in this project. So we had, let's see, on October 22nd, we opened bids. We had a total of 8 bids received, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Costs were all across the board, but the lowest bidder was Forkamaki Construction, $290,000 even right there, second from the bottom. And then there were a few right after them. You can see Dale Atkins was right on the tails, Sierra Range Construction. I did speak with Forkamaki Construction. They are comfortable with their number. So we are bringing forth that to the board for approval of award tonight. Any questions?
I was initially, when it's a big variance between the highest.
The high bidder?
No, they do
Yeah.
homes, but, yeah, it was quite a.
It's quite a range.
Quite a
I just
range.
couldn't believe the response. I was surprised at receiving that many bids for this. It's not a very big project, but a lot of bids.
Questions from the board? If not, I will entertain a motion to award the base bid in the amount of $290,000 for the COS Baseball Clubhouse Modular Building site work to Folkamaki Construction of Ivanhoe.
So moved.
Second.
Is that trustee Nunes? Motion by trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Cardoza. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
When do you expect completion of the project, Byron?
As soon as possible. On paper, is Jody listening? On paper, it's March 1st. But that's assuming all the stars align, all the vendors involved are
May
lined up, ready
1st.
to go. March 1st. Sorry, did I say May? March 1st.
May 1st.
Oh, gosh. Another doubter.
February 1st, we want it February. Oh, you're being realistic?
It's a tough timeline, but we've got everything lined up, and Forkamaki's gonna jump on it here in about a week or two. So we'll get our contracts lined up and off and running.
Meet the rain.
Yeah, oh gosh, don't say that. Some people want it, some people don't, it's tough. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 13, review and adoption of the faculty hiring procedures. Mr. Brett.
During the 2022-23 school year, task force made up of managers, part-time faculty, and full-time faculty got together and set out a goal of creating new faculty hiring procedures. And that was probably a good thing because our current faculty hiring procedures hadn't been touched since 2012. And since 2012, there had been some changes implemented within the education code. So we wanted to make sure that we were in compliance with recent revisions to the ed code and Chancellor's Office guidance. So the task force, again, made up of about 8 or 9 people, met pretty regularly and came up with a product that we felt pretty comfortable passing on to Senate, as well as having the district's legal counsel, Mary Beth Degetti, review that to make sure that the final product was, going to protect the district should we ever be challenged with our hiring procedures. And fortunately, Mary Beth Degetti found that we were in compliance with the law, and that final product was forwarded to the Academic Senate, and the Academic Senate passed it at the October 2024 board meeting. So now to finalize it, we need the board to formally adopt the faculty hiring procedures, and that's why I'm here tonight, to ask for your adoption.
John, is this subject to accreditation compliance of some sort?
Please, please. He said, John, but he's looking at you, so I'm assuming.
Oh, God, it's not like,
Directly.
they have our policies and procedures, and they have hiring procedures, and all of that are part of the accreditation standards. So they absolutely should be updated before the accreditors are here.
Were there any or many modifications at the Academic Senate level from what was provided?
No, I think this last go-around was pretty clean.
Pretty good.
Yeah. This task force was absolutely wonderful. Octavio Barajas did a great job, and it was not adversarial at all. It was let's do what's best for the district, regardless if you're a manager or faculty, and I think that carried forward onto the Senate as well, that approach.
Does it bring major changes to how it's done now, though, that are going to be hard? I mean, so new systems have to be put in place then?
Not necessarily new systems, but new approaches, and definitely some new probably going to need some updated training for folks who are going to sit on our hiring committees, making sure that they understand, Title V regulations and how to go about assessing, our applicants who are trying to get on.
Things, I guess my question probably was, even though a lot of the writing has changed in terms of how the committees meet and how people get hired, that's not changing. It's more so, are the committee structures and how it gets done changing too in here?
There's a little bit of changes in the membership, expanding them, offering opportunities for committee members to possibly sit on hiring committees if in the event a faculty member isn't available. But I think more than that, I think it's just trying to make sure that our hiring procedures are in alignment, as Dean Graff said, with the updated changes to Title V, with EO and yeah, it was
Coming down from the state then, not so much us revamping our own, but making ours align with what's being.
correct.
Okay, good, perfect.
Questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by trustee Cardoza, seconded by trustee Lane. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item, approval to increase educational stipends for management and confidential employees. Mr. Brett.
During negotiations with CSEA during the summer, one of the items that CSEA brought forward was to increase educational stipends. And we had realized that even though salaries had increased dramatically over the past 10 years, stipends had remained the same since when I started 20 years ago. So the educational stipends needed an update. And what we settled on was a 35% increase for classified educational stipends. Upon formalizing that, President Calvin suggested that perhaps we take a look at management and confidential educational stipends as well, and to increase those too. And what we settled on was to mirror what the educational stipends were for classified bargaining unit members, which would represent a 35% increase in the educational stipends for both confidential and management employees. So at this time and tonight, I'm formally requesting that the board approve that increase in educational stipends for confidential employees as well as management employees.
Okay, I would move for approval of the proposed stipend schedule.
Second.
Motion by trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Cardoza. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Brash. Next item, board policy, second read, Dr. Calvin.
Thank you, President Macareno. You're seeing these for the second time, BP 4226, 4231, and 4240. Multiple and overlapping enrollments, grade changes, and academic renewal. They have been through our process, culminating at DGS, but these, because they're 10+1, at Academic Senate. They've been approved, and seeking your approval tonight.
Any questions for Dr. Calvin or any comments on the policies?
Okay, the second read, so I would move for adoption of BPs 4226, 4231, and 4240.
Motion by trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Cardoza. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Number 16, board policy, first read, Dr. Calvin.
All right, tonight we just have one board policy here for a first read. It's BP 4030, academic freedom. This has gone through the sausage factory and come out the other side. We've got approval at Academic Senate for this. The administrative procedure, a little more involved, and there's still some discussion. You don't see those anyway, but just in case you hear that detail, we're still working through the administrative procedure to go along with this, but the board policy has been approved, and we'd like to get your approval here tonight to pass it on for a second read.
Public discourse, did that kind of get condensed and put into number D, academic freedom and responsibility?
I believe so, incorporated into D.
Any other questions from the board? No questions. I will entertain a motion. Motion to approve the first reading of the board policy as presented.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Cardoza,
I'll second.
seconded by trustee Nunes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Have a good evening.